everybody, it's Cheryl from Tutoring with Cheryl and the Tech Coach for Tutors. And I wanted to hop on and do my monthly question and answer, and we'll just see if anybody has any questions. If you don't have questions right now, that's okay. All you need to do is just leave me a message. I'm getting a message from StreamYard right now. I'm going to read it really quickly. Let's just see if we're working over there. So continue, and I think we're going to be good to go. All right. And we'll just, nope, says having problems playing this video. That's okay. We'll see if it ends up on Facebook. And if it doesn't, that's okay. I'll download it and I will repost it. So here's the thing about technology. You might have everything talking and it says that it's talking, and then you go live and then suddenly it's like, you didn't update something or whatever. And I was like, oh my gosh, I did. Well, anyway, my monthly Q&As are really meant to just inspire you to reach out and ask questions. But I just wanted to hop on here and talk to you about tools that you might need to run your tutoring sessions effectively online. And here's the deal. There might be a time where if you're an in-person tutor, you might fall ill and you're like, well, I'm not feeling the best. I probably could meet, but because maybe I'm running a low-grade fever or have a headache, I'm not curled up in the fetal position on my bed, but I'm not feeling well enough to meet in person. What can I do? So you could quickly transition to online tutoring. And the thing is that you probably, what I would do if I was you, is I would, and I'm an in-person tutor, I would say, let's practice an online session in person. And you can bring a tablet or your computer, and then you can hop on your phone, on your Zoom or your Google Meet, and just see if the student can like get into the meeting and try a few things. Or plan another day where you can set things up and say, well, let's look. Can we schedule a Sunday afternoon? All of your students are just going to hop into a meeting and just do a meet and greet and see if everybody can hop into that meeting or whatever that looks like for you. Have a plan of action before you actually implement something, because the thing is if you don't implement it before you need it, then you might struggle the day that you do need it. But going online and doing a lesson doesn't have to be difficult. You can, if you have the jitters about it, you can do like what I did. I practiced with my sister, actually. She was, this was several years ago when we all went online. And she was needing to do her college courses online, and I was needing to do some of my student lessons, my actual classroom online. At the time, I was a school teacher, and I said, I feel like I need to practice this before I do this. Can you help me? And then we just went through the steps. So find a trusted person and find the platform that you want to use, whether it's Zoom, Google Meet, Microsoft Teams, maybe you just want to do a messenger app or something like that. I don't feel like that's super safe for kids, but if you're tutoring adult learners, that's probably going to be okay. But practice, and then practice how are you going to share your screen. Maybe you're going to have something on your screen, or maybe you're literally just going to hold something up. And like right now, I don't even have a book on my desk that I can hold up. I've got a sticky note. Okay. So can you like hold that up and notate things on there? What's it going to look like? If I said hello and I held this up, is that what it's going to look like on the other side? Is your machine set up to mirror what you're showing? Do you have a document camera hooked up? You can get them very inexpensively on Amazon, or I don't know if you can walk into Walmart and get one, but you might be able to find one on Walmart or Target or Staples or some big company like that, and just say, I need a document camera for online tutoring, because maybe you don't want to have subscriptions online. But that's another thing to think about. Do you need a subscription to teach? And when I first started, I was really creating every lesson plan for every student and personalizing it to the point where I was spending hours creating things because I was meeting in person, and then I was moving to online. And I found that the energy it took for me to do that, I just couldn't do it anymore. So I do have some subscriptions that help me streamline what I need. And I'm going to share a couple of them with you. One of them is IXL. Now, I think IXL is great for in-classroom support. A lot of teachers use it. I would never use that as my end all for every student, but it's a great place to go to get a bank of questions for a particular subject. And what's really even wonderful is it goes K through 12. I don't know if they've got anything for college, but it does basically all subjects. And then for me, I have students in different states. So I live in the state of Nebraska. So I don't really want to use the Nebraska state standards for those kids because that might not be a good fit for what they're learning in the classroom. So I can go in and I can change that to whatever state it happens to be. And then I can pull up practice questions based on what their state standard target is for that grade level. And I think it's really important as a tutor to understand that if you're meeting the needs of your students, you want to meet them where they're at in the classroom. But the other cool thing about IXL or any other program that you might be using, if they're working above grade level or if they're working below grade level, you can go in there and you can find things that are going to be a good fit and you can fill in those gaps. Okay, so let's see. I was going to talk about that. Another thing that I was also going to talk about that a lot of tutors run into is finding a really good solution for whiteboarding options. Whiteboards are a little tricky. I don't use a whiteboard, just a blank whiteboard on a daily basis, but I bring a lot of things up that I want my students to see or I want my students to be able to write on or type on. So I have several options. One of them is just doing a shared Google document. And my students are old enough to read what's on the screen and then they can highlight, underline, they can fill in a box, they can do all kinds of things. So because I tailor my instruction to reading and writing, that works out really well. But when I was, and I also support some math, and IXL and Khan Academy are both great places to go for that extra support with math. And they do have some options for the whiteboard on the screen. So if you haven't fiddled around with that, you can hop on and just try it out. But if I have something that the student really needs to dive deep into and we need a whiteboarding option, I really have two go-tos. And one of them is the Kami app. And the reason I love the Kami app is I can take any PDF that's out there and I can download it to my computer and then I can upload it into the Kami app. I can name it with my student name and then share it. And then we can use that whiteboard option in real time. And I think that's the struggle, being able to see it in real time. Now, I have little tips and tricks to make those things work more effectively when you're in a meeting. And those are the things that I go into in the Tech Hub for Tutors. But that's something that you really want to think about. What exactly are you going to be presenting and how is that going to look? Because every tutor is going to run their lessons differently. Another question, I have a lot of people who reach out to me and say, what does your lesson plan look like? Well, I can't tell you what my lesson plan looks like because it's different for every single student, but I can tell you a little bit about what a meeting might look like. So we log into our meeting, meet the student face-to-face via my Google Meet because I use Google Meet. They have a dedicated Meet link that they meet me at. We hop into the meeting. I always greet them and say, tell me the best part of your day. Oh, what was it? Did you have celebration? Did you do something fun in your science class? Did you get to go outside and play? Did you see a friend today? Some of them have gotten new pets or they've started new activities. How was tumbling class? How is your new puppy? How is grandma's new puppy? Did grandma take you to Target this week? The things that I know that they do. Did you buy anything? Did you recently in the States, we had Thanksgiving. Now the holidays are coming up. I have some students that celebrate Christmas, some celebrate Hanukkah. What does that look like for the student? Oh, how are you preparing for those celebrations? And I ask them. And then once that's done and they're kind of eased into, all right, we're ready to get going, I tell them, what are we going to cover? And then I'll show them what it looks like. And then we'll begin the lesson. Then at the end of the lesson, I try to give them something that they're working on independently, a skill that they've been practicing in school, a skill that they've worked on with me. And while they're doing that, that's the time that I quickly hop into TutorBird and I'll take some notes about what we did. And I will tell them, all right, as you work on this, I am going to be making notes for mom and dad. Because at the end of my lessons, then that email goes straight to the parents so that the parents know exactly what happened. But if you don't use TutorBird, you can totally do that in Google Classroom and you can send an email in there or you can just simply write in the stream the notes so that they're going to be there afterwards. So it's really going to depend on what you're using as a tutor. So those are some things that I really want you to think about. But, here's the thing. If you're an in-person tutor and you're driving from house to house, or you're going somewhere and you're renting a space, think about the cost of that. And then think, is that really worth the cost for what I'm receiving in return? Now, if you're doing small groups, I know some people that have really done a great job of doing small groups in person and it works out superbly for them. I'm not going to try to dissuade you from doing that. But if you are still doing the one-to-one model, like I have a lot of success doing and I really enjoy doing, I'm really going to encourage you to reach out to your parents and say, would you consider, could we please try? January is coming. You've got a snowstorm coming. Would you be willing to try this out with me? See how it works. See if we can adapt and make changes. And I think they're going to be pleasantly surprised. Now, something that I have coming up in January, on January 9th at 8 p.m., I have the Google Classroom Bootcamp. And I will be offering that for $30. And so you can just come in and you can get a sneak peek behind the scenes of the things that I do with my students, what their Google Classrooms look like, how I kind of upload things and run my meetings and prepare for them. How do I share my links? How can you notate a lesson inside of there? How can you communicate with the parents? And then you can ask your questions. So you can see, what does that look like for a student? And then also, what does that look like if you want to run a course? Now, if you're already a Tech Hub for Tutor member, you come for free. But if you are not a member, and by the way, Tech Hub for Tutors, you guys need to get signed up on the calendar link. And while I'm thinking of that, I'll share that in the chat. So I will, actually what I might do, here's what I'm going to do instead. I will email the Tech Hub for Tutors that link, but I'm going to go into my kit really quickly. I should have had this up, and I'm going to grab that link for anybody that's interested and wants to learn more. So you come to the live meeting, and in the live meeting, you'll get to see exactly what I've got going on in the background. But after that, what follows up is you are going to then be offered or have the option to pay additional $45 for 3 months of support with a dedicated library. I'm sending that link right now. With a dedicated library where you can go in and you can continue to come back, get more training, see exactly the steps that are going on, you kind of see all those things. And so you have access to it. So you can come in like, oh, she said that I could add a link. How do I do this? She said that she's going to show me how to create Google documents and how I can share them. All of that is going to be in this dedicated library for you. That's outside of the Tech Hub for Tutors. The Tech Hub for Tutors can also join that for free. So if you're already in that membership, you're certainly welcome to do that. Now, you're hearing me talk about the Tech Hub for Tutors, and so I will quickly pull up that link as well. In the Tech Hub for Tutors, what I have is a very extensive library that my members have access to 24/7. There's no limit. If they are a monthly member, as long as they're paying their monthly dues, they get to have access to that. If they're a yearly member, at the end of their year, I will send them a little message. Hey, you're getting close. Do you want to stay in it? If so, here's the subscription link. If not, not a problem. And I'm not going to raise the rates on the people that are already in there. So if they came in at my first year rate, they get to keep that rate. So good for you. And then they get monthly notifications inside of the Google Classroom when I'm doing trainings like this. And clearly this isn't a training. This is a question and answer. And I'm telling you about things that I'm offering. But they get those updates, and then they can come into the stream and they can find it, or they can go into the library and search for it. They also get an email that says that I shared something. So that is for my members. And so, they learn, they get to grow. And anytime I have a question that I'm trying to tackle, they get the answer to that. And one of the things that I'm going to do a video on is I saw a tutor asking, how do I get my Google Calendar to talk to my non-Google Calendar? And there's a really simple solution for that. And I'm going to create a video for my membership group because that might be something that they're struggling with. And then I'm also going to add to that, how do you get your Tutorbird calendar to talk to your Google Calendar and sync? And so how do you erase old calendars? That's one of those other things. So that is going to be in the Tech Hub for Tutors membership coming up. So it's really all that I had for you guys today. I wanted to hop on here. I know Saturdays are really busy. It's December. People are getting ready to do holiday celebrations. Most of my friends are out with family today. They're either shopping or they're preparing their Christmas cards or whatever. As a matter of fact, I'm going to leave from here and I've got all my postcards ready to go. This one actually needs an address on it, so I'll cover up the recipient, but you can see that on Canva, I typed my little letter. I've got a return address on the back. I made a little postcard and we're going to go get some postage on those and get those sent out so that my friends and family know that I love and care for them. Oh, and here's one more little hint for my families. They're going to see a reduced lesson, a reduced cost lesson. What I've been doing, so this will be in January. This will be their gift for their child's Christmas gift. Things that I've done for them in the past is I have sent them a specific gift. I've done that. I have sent them a book. I have sent them cash. But this year for the gift, I'm going to go in and I'm going to reduce a lesson at half price for all of my families as a Christmas gift to their children and to their family. And that is how I'm going to address Christmas this year, because it seems like I send things and I don't know if they really get them. And this just is going to make everybody happy, just a reduced lesson. So that is a little hint, tip for success. I'm going to wrap things up. I want to thank you. If you haven't found me on Spotify, look for the Tutoring with Cheryl podcast. I have the Tutoring with Cheryl YouTube account as well. So you can go in there and check me out. And also this one, the Tech Tutor Innovate. It's great to see you guys here and make it a great day. Keep the learning going.